we're making millions and millions of dollars off this. Like, this is what a successful system looks like for us.
I thought they were giving me something. I thought they were giving me something.
It's fucking disgusting.
Unless you've been living under a rock for the last few years, you've probably heard about Csgo skins by now. But unless you're a Counter-Strike faithful person, you probably don't realize just how insane the system has become. In case you're not up to date on how CSGO skins work, I'm going to give you a quick 30-second rundown here on how you get them. Basically, you can get them one of two ways. Either random drops from completing matches online, usually you get skins that are worth pennies, nothing special. But the main way people get skins is by opening cases. Now, cases also drop post-match, and they usually aren't all that expensive. However, it costs a little over $3 Canadian to buy a key to open one case. And when it comes to opening cases, let's just call it what it is, it's gambling, okay? It functions the exact same as a slot machine at a casino. Anyone who's been to a casino and used a slot machine knows this. It's the same thing. When you open the case, you're given a random chance between getting a blue grade skin, the lowest you can get with a case. Usually those range from anywhere from being worth 10 cents to maybe a little over $1, or going up to an exceedingly rare knife, which can be worth hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars. And it's not really a random chance here. You are pretty much getting skewed to get fucked when you open a case. Like, you are probably gonna get something worth way less than the $3 you spent to open the thing. But people will open these cases right now hundreds of dollars at a time. They will keep opening and opening and opening and try to get that knife to try and recoup the losses they're racking up by opening these cases. So then when you break it all down and you realize that these skins don't actually have any effect on gameplay, they're completely unnecessary if you want to have the full CSGO experience. You are probably 90% chance going to lose money whenever you open a case. And if you really want a skin, then it's much easier and more cost efficient to just go on the Steam market and buy it from someone else who's already unboxed it. It really does beg the question.
Why?
I don't know if there's an exact answer for that. I think it's for a variety of reasons. Some people just like spinning the wheel for a better skin. Some people enjoy the skins and in-game economy more than they actually enjoy the game itself. And some people just make a living screaming like a jackass on camera for ad revenue and donations. But in all seriousness, I'm not actually here to rip on people who do case opening videos. It's actually pretty entertaining content sometimes. Take guys like Anomaly or McSkillet, for example, who actually make some pretty funny and interesting videos. But really, the main reason people watch these case opening videos is for the reactions. After all, if you don't want to gamble your own money, the next best thing is just to watch other people gamble their money. But I'm not here to take a side really on this argument. You see, I open cases myself, but I also don't go and blow $100 a week on skins. I'm making this video because I've come to realize that there are a few truths about the CSGO skin market that just need to be brought out into the open. Consider this me just giving my 2 cents on the whole thing based on my own experience. So let's start with point number 1. Somewhere along the line, I have no idea how, but the quality and quantity of a player's skins ended up becoming associated with the skill of the player. Have a bunch of default skins or consumer grade stuff and people assume that you have the game sense of a brick, but then if you have a bunch of covert skins with stickers and nameplates, well then everyone assumes that you are basically the second coming of Christ himself. This is one of the major driving forces that gets newer players to eventually just give in and start opening a few containers. Because once you start to figure out what you're doing in this game and you get out of the silver levels of ranked matchmaking, you want to look the part. Unfortunately, you'll eventually realize that there's a hard truth you have to face. Nobody fucking cares. Unless you're rocking one of the rarest skins in the game, like an Op Dragonlore or an AK Fire Serpent, no one gives the left half of a fuck what skins you rep. If you really just don't want to have the default skins anymore, just get $5, go to the Steam market, and you can buy several factory new quality blue skins, no sweat. Don't go and try to be fancy and open cases unless you are prepared for the reality that you are betting against the odds. You're basically paying a very large premium for the slight chance that you might get a very rare item. I've heard of some people who have to open over 500 cases just to get one knife. And even with knives, there are only certain patterns and styles that the community really considers high value. So before you go into a lobby and start going off about this new M4 Desolate Space you just unboxed, just remember that no one cares even half as much as you do. Now, this is one opinion that I think I'm unfortunately in the minority on. Unboxing cases is highly addictive because it's a slot machine. That rush of excitement you get when you press the open case button, that's the rush of gambling. Now don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with gambling at all, not inherently, so long as you're an adult and have some self-control. However, self-control is something that gamers unfortunately tend to lack. I have this rule, when I go to the casino, I only take cash with me. I leave my wallet and credit card at home besides my own ID. Because when you bust out after being so close to winning a huge hand, it's really tempting to just go to the ATM, buy one more buy-in so you can try to win that money back, because you think that your luck can't be so bad that you're going to lose it all again. However, with Steam, most of us already have our credit card information stored online, so there's effectively an infinite number of cases and keys just a touch of a button away. When you've unboxed 15 straight blues and you're just getting pissed because you're not getting anything, it really becomes tempting to just go and buy just a few more cases because you think, okay, this time I'm going to get something. Basically, Steam makes it far too easy to get sucked into that path of self-destruction. At least at casinos, there's signs everywhere, including the ATM, with warnings about gambling addiction and not to overindulge. So when you go to unbox a case, why not have a notice that says, hey, just a heads up, there's like a 90% chance that you're just going to lose money to us for no reason when you click that button, so keep it under control. Obviously, it's not all Valve's fault. You know, there has to be some responsibility on the end user. It's not Gaben's responsibility to cut you off at a certain point. But at the same time, are we really gonna pretend that Valve is 100% blameless when there are kids stealing credit cards for CSGO skins? I mean, go to Google and put in CSGO Gamble. There are entire online casinos that use skins as gambling tokens and completely circumvent all gambling laws.
What is the joy that this stuff possibly brings you?
It's just...
It's fun.
yeah, it's fun.
It's not fun. There's something in your brains that makes you unable to stop.
Now, if you're an adult and want to risk your money that way, that's up to you. But we all know that there are lots of kids who play this game, kids way younger than 18. Kids who don't understand the value of the money that they're risking and are the least likely to ever step back from the situation and say, wow, I need to stop. I gotta wrap this point up, but this one really bothers me. Not just Valve's indifference with this very real and growing problem with the system they've developed, but how so many of the community still seem to not acknowledge this situation for what it is. However, Valve is making so much bank from this cash cow of a service that it's very unlikely they would ever intervene unless something major happened. There are shitloads of people in this community who will rip on you for opening cases or really spending any money on skins. And in almost any other game, I'd probably agree with them. When I first started playing, I thought it was just such a pointless thing to spend any money on at all, but as I've come to just play the game more and more, I've realized it's actually all a matter of perspective. See, Counter-Strike has this really weird community. Pretty much everything is based on skill and a sort of unspoken hierarchy. When you first start playing, one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to get burned out by the fact that this game has just got such a huge learning curve and you're getting your ass handed to you, or you're going to embrace that challenge and keep playing to get better. And of course, it's the ones who stick around who end up getting caught up with skins because they're the ones who actually like the game and care about being good at it. If you moved on, or if you just don't play CSGO all that often, of course you're going to think paying $3 to unbox a case for a skin is completely ridiculous because you don't even like the fucking game it's for. Try to think of it like sports memorabilia. Some people would pay ridiculous amounts for authentic team jerseys or autographs of famous players. But if you don't give a shit about hockey, then you're not going to go out and buy a Pittsburgh Penguin t-shirt. It's the same general concept with CSGO. The people who spend larger amounts of money on skins are people who know they're going to be around a long time because they love the game and they want to have nice, rare, or expensive skins to show off to other players. This whole system sits right on the edge of what the gaming community will find acceptable. It's right in the sweet spot where Valve can maximize their profit and monetize the game for the long run, and gamers will still accept the service. Other games have tried to mimic the whole cases and keys idea, most notably Payday 2, but they got a disastrous reception and fractured the community so badly that I really don't think Overkill will ever be able to come back from it. And what you have to understand about why it failed in Payday 2 and yet succeeds in Counter-Strike is because Counter-Strike is a completely unique game. It's a total dinosaur. Its mechanics have remained almost completely unchanged for 15 years, and its community will never leave because there's nothing else like it on the market. And then you also have to factor in that CSGO is completely based around competitive gaming. Never underestimate the power that esports has over a fan's buying decisions. In conclusion, I don't really have any problem with CSGO skins. but what concerns me is the ripple effect it has, and how the system basically is creating this giant loophole for underage kids to get into gambling, and even allowing these third-party gambling websites to even exist. I believe that this issue is just going to keep snowballing, it's going to keep growing, get bigger and bigger and bigger, until eventually Valve can just no longer ignore it. At the time of recording this, there's even been a lawsuit filed against Valve for allowing these online casinos to link users' Steam accounts to them, and then use these skins as gambling chips. Now that's highly controversial because you got one side saying that it's not Valve's fault because it's not actually Valve's website, but then you've got other people saying that Valve is responsible because it's using their product and Valve's system is allowing this stuff to happen. But again, that's just something that can be debated until we're blue in the face. Look, my point here is basically that there is a real problem coming out of this system. The system itself is not wrong, but there is problems coming out of it. And keep in mind, while I don't have a problem with skins, I do take issue with anyone trying to pretend that case opening is anything other than gambling. Trying to play down what it is only going to make it more likely that someone will end up with an addiction. Spending a few bucks to open a chroma case or two here and there, there's no problem with that. But if you ever find yourself spending more money than you can reasonably afford on cases and skins, you might want to take a look at yourself. Because in the end, all of this stuff is ultimately meaningless, and you don't want to wait until your credit card starts getting declined before you find your breaking point.